which is on the parking lot side. And I don't know what they have there, but I know there's markings there. It's pretty much the same size.
It's good.
Actually, that HWC Financial, I think it says 4x1.
That,
That's big. So,
okay. So do you know what the actual size would be then? Maybe just if you want to get back to Peter with the exact.
Just give it to us. When we do the permit, we'll include those final dimensions.
Then let's say 2 feet by 6 inches, half the size.
Okay. Take a motion on this
Yeah, I'll
one?
make a motion that we approve the signs as like.
Okay, with the noted change. Second,
Second.
Eileen seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yep.
Next up, Taylor Bellamere, 15 Bonner Street, installation of a wall lettering 64 by 36 and a blade sign without lighting.
That's correct.
Okay. So,
Replacing, or we have a bonnet main sign and stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's the side, which is like, I think that's 23 inches in diameter.
I don't think we have the dimensions for that one.
We don't.
23.6 inches diameter.
So you guys make a note of that, Peter?
Oh, wait,
For the blade sign.
I don't have it on the memo.
So blade sign is missing.
We've got a photo of it, it's not. the
Yeah, we
blade.
have the photo.
Okay,
Okay,
we'll make sure it fits for them.
23.6 diameter.
I make a motion, we approve the application as submitted.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, good luck, guys.
Are you second?
Next up, Green Cow Cannabis, 508 Depot Street, installation of 2 wall signs, each 78 inches by 27 inches, and 1 freestanding panel, 39 inches by 14 inches. There's somebody here for that.
I don't see John anywhere.
We'll move on.
Bradley, he's on the DRB as well.
How did they get approved with a daycare across the road? There's a daycare across the street. How did that?
There is. It's right on the corner.
So we'll move on to the
We'll move
next
on
one
to
in
the
case, in case he
I
arrives.
can try and give him a call.
Is Mary Jo Gord here? We'll move on there. Shane Manchester. Okay. Shane Manchester, 4969 Main Street, installation of a 30-inch in diameter sign with no lighting proposed. Okay. Do we have on the building where that's gonna be?
Yes.
Okay,
Green Mountain Shops.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Straightforward. I make a motion, we approve the sign as what, as
Presented,
presented.
okay,
A second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Simon Pierce, somebody here for that?
I think she's Jen.
Hi, I'm
Oh.
here via video.
Okay. Simon Pierce, 97 Depot Street, the installation of 3 wall signs, 2 52-inch by 14-inch signs and 1 66.5 by 14-inch sign and 1 50-inch by 12-inch freestanding panel sign. Okay. We see,
Yeah, that's.
there we go.
What is the sign? Is that the actual sign?
It's the actual sign, but it's not the actual building.
Right. So it's,
That's just a mock-up of what the sign would look like. That's on our store in Windsor, Vermont. But it's the same colorway.
So the location is the old Aunt Bonnie's on the, by Theory.
Kate Spade.
Yeah,
They-
Yeah.
can I ask a question? It says factory store. I'm just curious, what does that mean?
Just that we are going to be carrying seconds there, so it's not all first quality. It's our seconds, which are, are slightly imperfect product. That's what that's what we have on our Windsor store, but on this store in Manchester, I believe it will just say Simon Pierce.
It's not going to say factory store.
No,
It's first quality or not? It's not first
First
quality.
quality, we're gonna have first quality on the first floor and second quality upstairs on the second floor.
How many signs are there? Are those signs in the windows?
Those are window decals.
Yeah, those are window decals. That's what the sign's gonna look like. It's just gonna say Simon Pierce.
Sign on the building and then there's a sign on the street.
Free-
Okay, but what are the window decals? How big are those?
They're in that addendum there. They're
about 48
small.
inches by-
They're,
Oh, it's just down below.
4.8 inches by
The
48.
whole window is purple. Is that, it's not covering up the whole window, it's just the lower part.
exactly. Yeah, that's just to highlight that that's where they'll be in the window. The window will be clear.
Okay. So there are two window signs.
There are decals on the front doors and then decals on pretty much all the large windows.
So it meets the criteria for.
Okay, so the window, on the big windows, it's only 48 wide going across?
Correct.
Yes.
And the panel sign, freestanding panels.
Make a motion we accept as presented?
I'll second. Yep.
Ariel second.
Sure.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. See Mary Jo arrived, so we'll jump right
Thank
into
you.
that.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
So Mary Jo Gord, 98 Bonnet Street, install a portico to entrance of carriage house and add 3 post lights between rear of brick building and entrance to carriage house.
Anybody else wants?
Yes.
What did I see?
And we're just looking at the, and there's lighting to that as well?
Yes.
Yeah,
Where those yellow flags are on the picture.
Okay, yeah.
Post lights. So one at each flag to light the space between the office and the Ferry House.
And the portico's going where the arrow's pointing? Okay.
Over that end.
Gotcha.
And what kind of light bulbs are there?
They will be LED. Off the top of my head, I don't know what the wattage maximum is for those.
We could work with you on that. We'll let you know.
Yeah.
Make sure they fit this.
We're looking for kind of a warm light, not something too austere.
Yeah.
I'm sure you,
Right.
yeah, okay.
And that's why I chose the light with the dome, with the solid dome, so that's not casting up. I'm more interested in it casting down.
and the roof tile for the portico is gonna, what's that gonna be? That material, is that shingle or? So what's on what's on the actual garage, the office now? What's that?
That's,
That's like, so this is not gonna be slate, is it? Do we know?
Well, you can't.
We know
you
the
can't
color?
see it,
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
The color's gonna be color?
the color is gonna be white to match the trim.
No, I'm talking about the shingle. The shingle color is gonna be black. The slate, yeah, okay.
I'm good.
Yep, I am too.
Make the motion we approve as presented?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Go. Welcome. Trustee Caraccio? Here. Oh, sorry about that. 48 Della Street. Change the logo and color of previously approved 7.22 square feet freestanding sign. That. Go.
It was previously approved and it said 282 Highland. And now there's a road there, so the new one says $48. That's your,
And what's the material of the sign?
as previously approved. If you scroll up on what you're looking at, it has all the material. If you zoom in right on the top. There, you've got, it's wood, some metal on the top. It matches the building.
So the only change is the access.
Just it, right?
Okay.
Nice sign.
Motion to approve the sign?
Okay,
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I don't even know if I want to attempt this, but Honorat is shown, well, I'll just say 4659 Main Street. Is this applicant here?
I didn't see him. The sign guy was supposed to come for this, but
Oh,
it's kitchen?
The former Ponce.
at least.
Oh, we'll put it towards the end and
Okay.
maybe somebody will show.
Somebody shows, then we'll
Yeah.
we'll pick it up again.
Address it. All right. Somebody here for the Agnoli Sign Company? Right. Agnoli Sign Company, 595 Bonnet Street. Replacing hanging sign, 72.5 inches by 36.25, and wall sign 24 inches by 18 inches.
This sign replaces the door sign, so it's just a question of changing vendors they bought out.
But is that an illuminated sign?
No,
It's not, okay.
These are, basically aluminum panels that are replaced, they're refacing what's existing.
But was that an it was doors illuminated
No.
at some point?
Just kind of,
Oh, was it?
Not that we know of.
Okay,
And what we're putting in there will not allow it to be illuminated.
okay.
We're just removing the lettering also.
We're removing a substantial amount of signage.
Yeah. Questions?
Any of the-
Well, the sign is metal.
It says ACM, it's aluminum composite material, so it's two pieces of very thin aluminum, maybe bolt. Bolt one maybe, but it has a poly type of material in between to make it lightweight and last longer, so it's not a heavy piece of metal.
I make motion we approve as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Welcome. Is there somebody here for Three Pairs Gallery? Okay. Three Pairs Gallery, 4963 Main Street. Installation of two wall signs, one 37 inches by 25 inches and one logo sign 60 inches by 33 inches.
Are you moving from Dorset or just setting up another shop?
We're moving towards the building sold.
Oh, did?
Yeah.
Looks nice. Meets all the specs as far as size and everything.
Now, is that's just being painted onto the clapboard?
Yeah, so there's gonna be, should say there's cutout wood. It's gonna be painted.
Oh, that's,
Flat surface, 60 by 33.
Just looking at the piece that's on.
Yeah, it
Can you
does look
scroll-
like that.
It does. Yeah. Yeah. Gotcha.
So it's wood that's gonna be mounted onto the side of the building?
And obviously that wood is gonna be back painted with the same color of the
will
sign.
be.
Right. Yeah.
Just a quick look. What is this page that's attached?
he gave that to me as well. I think it's a statue that wants to be.
Sculpture outside, I wasn't sure if I needed permit for sculpture,
Okay.
so sculpture.
Not permanently installed though.
No, it would be to sell, it's for sale.
Yeah, yeah.
Need a permit?
I don't think you need a
Well,
permit.
Well, I don't think we're allowed to have stuff sitting outside that's for sale.
Correct.
I mean, unless it's brought in
It's gonna
at night.
Mounted into the ground. With a little sign saying inquiries come inside ask.
How many pieces?
Just one. It's pretty similar to Epcot and Humboldt's with the horse, they do up theirs, this way. So they're kind
What does the sculpture look like? Am I,
it's a great big, a beat, it should be a.
Yeah, it didn't come through on the scan well.
It's a beat, it's a.
Correct me if I'm wrong, the idea would be it would sell and you would replace it with something new. I don't have a problem, it's fine with me.
Yeah, I just don't think that we've taken the position that we've allowed merchandise to be
outside.
sitting outside for sale.
Right.
Even if it's sculptural, I mean, if it's something that's more.
Because it is like you said, like Humboldt's horse, it's the same as that, isn't it?
If it's not for sale,
Right.
completely different.
Well,
I
horse
see.
isn't for sale.
No,
Is doing, they do have sculptures out there sitting for sale.
Hmm.
And also something nice sculpture side for sale as well, versus.
I think it looks nice to have.
I'm not it's not a matter of look, it's just.
what's
the
permitted?
Ordinance,
And
it's,
we don't want to set a
right,
precedent.
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I think it might be a nice
I
enhancement.
think it is.
We have to,
It might require a little bit of,
along and they say, well, they allowed that.
Maybe what we do is we'll leave it with Peter. You can work with Peter in terms to figure out if there's an administrative way that can be worked through on that. But as far as the signs, I
We can
guess,
approve the sign.
yeah, well, we can
put
certainly.
the signs out. for-
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the signs without the sculpture right now, is that?
Yep. And sculpture, we've worked with Peter in
With-
terms of administrative approval if can be.
And I also submitted colors to the building, that as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
we're painting the building?
yeah.
Stay here.
I got it. I got it.
So what is the color of the building gonna be?
Like a dark gray and
Dark gray.
black.
Black trim?
We don't,
Yeah, no, I just kind of.
Yeah, yeah,
They give us a sample board, so.
This is current, this is as is.
Wow, so there's and so all the windows are being painted as well?
All the windows, so the building's gonna be washed in one color.
Yep.
And the front door and the porch is gonna be pretty black.
And I see you got three double hungs up top on the second floor, it looks like. You have three windows up top as well. Those are painted too, I presume.
Not the outside, not the grid.
Not-
That's you can probably see in the picture.
Well, I can't see in the picture, that's why I'm asking. I've got the picture right here.
I think what they're saying is the windows will stay white, but the red will go.
Trim that is,
So all the trim will be,
trim that's currently red,
okay.
will be able to wash in.
Okay.
Is that what it's gonna be, or is that what it is now?
This is what it's gonna be.
It's existing.
Oh, okay.
You should have.
Oh, okay.
This is the whole building or just the
Yeah,
front?
that's nice. I think it's a nice improvement.
Absolutely. Great improvement.
Can you just pass that down? Submit.
Motion for,
So motion to approve painting and signs and not sculpture, which will be looked into by motion.
Second.
favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Good luck with
Good
it.
luck.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks great.
Welcome to Manchester.
Yes, exactly.
Eric Tupper? Okay, Eric Tupper, 106 Eagle Crest Road, remove and replace back deck to enlarge 18 by 12. Now, this is the same size as the last set?
Yep. Yeah, it's that, back there, you can see go and Mark.
Yeah.
It's up there. We can replace some boards, and everything on the units, so.
So unless there's questions, we can move to, on a motion on this one.
Make a motion we approve as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Luck. Oh, is this another one?
Yeah,
Why do they have to apply? Is it-
Well, I
is
think
the
we
zoning-
were just talking.
it's because they're in the design review zone. And it requires at least,
So any exterior modification has to kind of go.
This is over by Alducci's?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's a suggestion that we take to the planning commission. Do we need to,
once we see one, if it's if it's following suit in the same format, size and everything.
You got a
perhaps it-
universal approval for development.
exactly,
Right.
Yeah.
So, I'm not so sure that Mona sees is here. Oh, I'm sorry. So it's the same exact sizing and everything.
Make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, good luck. You're welcome. North Shire Civic Center. Okay. 410 Hunter Road Park, Park Road, construction of a community stage, 22 and 8 inches by 16 and 8 inches, the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Okay, maybe you can kind of point out exactly where that's gonna.
you still, no, you sure?
There's the rank.
Yeah,
So it's next to the school?
Yeah, the school is, school right here.
Yeah.
And that's Pigpen Road coming up.
We're hoping to have it in the school. Facing fields back onto the.
gotcha.
Is that where the Bluegrass Festival is held in that field?
Yep, their stage usually here,
Yeah,
the other, festival stage.
The idea is that this wouldn't be the future
No,
festivals.
we're hoping they can sort of benefit from it. So we're working with both of the festivals to, how it benefits having the stage there. Because they usually have, Bluegrass has 3 or 4 stages anyway.
Mhm.
yeah,
This could be added into the mix.
yeah.
This is permanent, right? This is a.
It's, I don't know what they call it, like a drill, screw foundation.
So it's on pylons or it's on piers?
Yeah.
Okay, so no, that's considered removable.
Yeah.
And that seating, are those benches part of the seating? Is that what that? Are people gonna sit on the ground or?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a combination of whether we're gonna be able to source out some kind of seating or it's just gonna be bringing our own chairs.
Hmm.
But the bigger picture or the idea is that we've been gifted this through a child's wish that she'd like to have a stage built because she'd like to be a performer. And she picked Riley Rank to be the place. She doesn't know she's gonna, her wish is gonna.
Oh, nice.
So it's like the,
Great.
under the cover.
How can we turn
Very
this?
nice.
It's a great, yeah.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Looks nice.
Okay.
I make a motion to recommend approval as presented. Second.
Second.
Thank you.
Favor?
Aye.
We'll circle back here on anybody.
The 4659 Main Street, Von, East. There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
This is the Nong's Restaurant?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which one is this?
That Nong's Restaurant?
Orange sign.
The old Ponce?
Yep.
Ponce building?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so that's 4659 Main Street. Replacing 2 signs. 132 inches by 19.5 inches freestanding and 148 inches by 48 inches wall sign. Do we have the location on the building for this?
Yeah, we do.
It's the old Ponce restaurant.
Is that where the sign was?
Yeah.
Okay. So that lighting is
Yeah.
gonna, just whatever's there.
Not the building, it's the restaurant.
I think the old.
Still has the building.
I think, yeah. So that will be in the same location and then
Yeah.
the freestanding.
Yeah.
so the same location.
Okay, because that's a good state.
And no change to the exterior of the building paint or anything? No. Oh,
So no.
no, okay.
At first, I like the sign, but I had a little question about the building with that, but I think it's nice. And then the little chopsticks have a little red in it, so it ties together.
I believe the landlord will be coming to the future perhaps
Okay.
to pursue something. Right now, they just want to keep what's there.
Motion,
Is there lighting? Do we-
Yeah, actually, can we just take a look at that lighting up top there? I mean, is that floodlight or? Because that should be shielded.
Yep.
It's not even.
It's gotta be compliant with our current regs. So you'll have to replace that fixture.
Is the sign manufacturer.
Okay.
We'll definitely
Well, it's gonna be in the findings. I mean, it's gonna be written up that way, so,
let them know that.
right.
They can take
Okay, yeah.
like to do that.
So is there a light down below too, or is there a light just on top? In the right-hand corner, is that a light as well?
I can't tell what that is.
It looks like electric. It looks like a conduit. But yeah, as long as it's shielded, like the ones we use, Peter, once like that.
So,
Lighting will have to be compliant.
exactly.
Will be subject to that in the permit.
And now what about the light on the, it looks like that's the freestanding, is that down shield? Like,
Looks like.
and I think
Looks like
be
it's-
good there, Peter?
I'd have to look at it. I can't see it from here.
So maybe you can just go take a peek, because you're gonna have to make the administrative change to that anyway.
4x4 both sides.
Yeah, it just looks like there's one up top there. It looks like it's a downcast. I don't know if it's a flat.
Superimposing my panel.
Right onto that, right.
What's there.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Take a look at it tomorrow.
Okay, so we're gonna address the signs along with bringing all lighting back into compliance.
I'll make a motion to recommend approval of the signs, subject to lighting becoming compliant with current regulations.
And second.
All in favor?
Right?
Okay. Yep. So the only one we did not get to is the green
Green
cow
cow
cannabis, and
cannabis.
we'll probably want
No.
to wait on this one. I think we gotta have the applicant.
The actual sign post and all is pretty decrepit there.
Yeah.
Maintenance.
Well, it's got something gotta be done. Did you try to reach out to that?
I'd try to-
Yeah. And then under other
Use
business,
the word decrepit anyway. See, it was out there in the other.
Next to Yale Tavern, aren't you? Are they?
Yule Tavern?
yeah, you're here. I didn't put you on the DAB, but I gotta switch to another packet and then, they're doing renovation, but they're also on DRB after this. So I had,
So why don't we do this? I mean, can we, I mean, I know it wasn't warned, but subject to.
Yes.
So it'd be subject to the 7 o'clock meeting that you'll be attending as well.
We initially designed for a garage to be within the 10-foot setback.
Yeah.
But something that avoids infringement on that setback, so the board might not need to.
So there was no waiver needed, is that what you're saying?
With this, talk about
You
now.
do not need a waiver. You'd come on up and explain to,
Might just be similar to.
actually got your stuff here.
You have the,
Oh, that's the John.
yeah, so some of the front elevations shouldn't change, really just,
Okay, so there's,
the building closer to the road so that it wouldn't, we can still fit, 10 foot of clearance to the rear setback. Yeah, but
So we're not gonna address the setback issues in this meeting, but for purposes of this committee, what is it that we were looking at?
So this garage, is newly proposed. This is the addition we talked about last time.
Yeah.
And then, this, garage addition is what we wanted to talk to you about today. And yeah, so it's in a slightly different footprint to avoid the setback than we submitted that work for the DRB. But I think now, allows for 10-foot clear, so that a waiver wouldn't be needed. But the front elevation here wouldn't change. The idea is that it would look like a historic carriage house and, white paint, slip roof.
I don't have that picture in mind.
Well, this is,
New updated one. So this is a view, this elevation is a view from, side that is from, I guess you could kind of far away, but from the Palmer House Hotel.
Yeah. You guys have this one?
no, that's new tonight.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
This is new tonight.
yes.
So you guys should take a copy.
Yeah, I
I
was
could
thinking,
also email it to you.
I think the
Yeah, that'd be great.
important part is,
you need this
do
for
you have any,
DRB, right?
yeah.
Okay, so I'm,
color samples, sketches?
We are not changing the color to our existing house.
Okay.
It is white.
Okay, so you're gonna keep it white.
Yep.
Lights on the building at all?
Couple on the garage.
Yeah, there's a couple on the drawings, small lantern style, and some barn lights over the garage doors. Downcast to keep a warm light in compliance with the light bulbs.
And when, we already looked at the window. Didn't we look at everything? on this?
Everything but the garage. The garage was not on last.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Plans, the work itself was sort of staged.
I shouldn't need- I mean, I'm assuming all the windows are gonna obviously match existing.
Well, I mean, match the size and dimensions and stuff. More upgrade. Some of our windows are like wavy glass and
Yeah.
historic.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Match the look.
And landscaping, I mean, I don't know what that is, but there's plans for something there.
Ferns, tall grasses, yeah, a screening privacy fence on the rear setback. The abutting landowner is Napa. They park sort of long-term parking vehicles back there, so putting in a little bit of screening.
Okay.
And they're aware of your plans anyway.
Yeah, they're very supportive. Yeah.
So again, I guess for purposes here, we're just addressing the garage, the colors and lights and plantings.
Right.
Looks fine to me. I make a motion we
Yeah.
approve as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Okay, great.
Okay, great.
So then, Peter, because this has the 10-foot setback now, do we? I need.
If you don't need a waiver, in other words, if you can meet the setback, we could do this administratively with the recommendations for approval by the DAB.
We'd love to pursue that.
So we're good. You don't need to be at the DRB's meeting tonight at 7:30.
I just want to clarify the fact that this wasn't warned, so.
That's correct.
With that?
Would you have an objection to coming back again in a month? When do you plan on starting?
As soon as possible.
As soon as possible. Is it possible that I could warn this and call an emergency meeting perhaps?
I
Works for
mean,
me.
yeah, worst case, we could do a Zoom.
Do a Zoom?
Yeah.
I'm good.
Because if this is the
Yeah,
only
it'll be
thing.
quick.
I don't want to hold you up.
Exactly.
Because we have the
Yes.
contractors on site for the first part.
Of course.
Understood,
Absolutely.
understood.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You don't want to let the contractors leave because you won't see them again.
Oh,
I
soon.
know that drill.
I think we could do it within 48 hours
Yeah.
warning,
Yeah.
but let me double check it. So
You just have to
look
warn it.
for a Zoom invite from us at a time that's convenient for the board as well as yourselves. But certainly within the next couple of days, or early next week.
Next week.
Awesome.
Okay.
We appreciate that.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's
Right?
Okay. Good luck, congratulations, can look great.
Yes, that's great. So you do not need copies of this.
We end up opening them. Get them out.
Ribbon cutting.
That's really
You're
nice.
gonna do an emergency meeting,
Appreciate it.
because you're gonna warn it.
An emergency DRB meeting?
No, emergency. DAB.
Okay.
So there's no, you don't need DRB. is what-
Correct. I do not need DRB.
All right, cool. I got John. He's on the way down now.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So it should only be like 5-10 minutes. He's close.
Okay.
And now other other business?
Other new business,
New
right?
business, yeah. So he's at Murray Hill. That's on the, it's actually not on this packet.
Has that been warned?
That has not been,
Oh, what are we doing here?
so we could probably do the same, the meeting.
Put that on that same emergency meeting. So he just wants to do.
Let's see what's being presented, I guess.
Here you go. I only brought one up, sorry.
That's okay.
All right,
You can
so
all share.
the proposal is to replace a window by the front entrance, which opens up onto a bathroom with the existing siding, and then also to replace the patio door.
And this is because the design district, is that the deal?
There's Murray Hills in there.
Yeah, okay. Well, I
So
mean,
we're replacing, I'm sorry, replacing the window?
Yeah,
and,
sure, it's actually,
a door.
You actually have to go onto this property to see anything.
Yeah.
You're not.
Yeah.
There's no way you're seeing
so
anything.
you see here, this is the, there's a combination of 4 windows right there.
Mm.
Well, it's like 3 windows and a faux panel
Mhm.
that open up onto the shower. They're opaque right now. We look to close that off.
Yeah.
And keep the siding. Units 38 and 45, I have some pictures in here as well that sort of replicate that. You sort of see it keeps like continuity throughout the complex. And then I'm replacing the patio doors. We're gonna use the bronze coloring, keeping in line. I've got the approval of the association as well. We went through their process over Memorial Day weekend. So they're all on board just doing this because it's in the design district.
Design.
So this is something that's been pre-approved in other cases at that location, right?
I believe so.
I've never seen it in my time. But nevertheless, it doesn't matter.
This is a learning curve for me. It's just, if it's in the design review, you guys
We
can
have
get a
we
look
have to
at.
take a look at it
Yeah,
anyway.
no, I understand.
Can we make a motion? then?
Well, I think we're gonna warn it. We're gonna warn it.
We're gonna put you on the same meeting if that's okay.
Excellent.
So we'll have one meeting with two quick
You'll
applicants.
need this?
I think we're.
You can hop on Zoom for that, I guess, or do
But
you?
that's what we discussed while you were out. We're just gonna do a Zoom.
Yeah.
So just schedule it and
The only
send it out.
difference is a roll call vote.
Okay.
That looks nice. Murray Hill, are you new there?
Yeah, we purchased earlier this, a month ago.
It looks pretty cool as condos go. I kind of looked at them and I thought they would be kind of neat.
You know, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. There's
A lot of windows.
There's a lot of windows, a lot of good natural light.
Yeah.
We're excited to get
That's
in
why I
there.
say it's looks a little bit nicer than some of the others.
It's a lot of fun. Look, we like Manchester. I'm glad to put some roofs in
Good,
here.
good.
That's the only one.
Can't approve anything unless it's only baby back.
You know, as long as around 5 o'clock,
We're not turning you down.
We're in good.
I'm sorry, did you have an application pending?
Well, I thought I did,
Okay.
but I'm guessing now I know that it didn't submit. I'm with Weekender with the Aspen, right down the street.
Oh, okay,
I was-
so
Nobody sent anything in.
nobody sent anything in. So we need a check and application filled out.
Right.
Okay,
So
yeah, so I came over from Sarasota, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
It's not your fault. I thought everything was submitted, so I need to get everything over to you guys. We've had some transition with leadership,
course.
so kind of been a little bit messy, but I can get application and use paint and all that good stuff over to you guys as soon as possible.
Do you have our cards?
I was forwarded an email and just said like, be here at 5 o'clock.
Okay. I'll get you a couple of cards.
But I can grab some.
We'll give you a
This,
card.
I've got one, Peter, if
You do?
it has it changed or not?
No, it's all the same information.
Okay.
What is this for?
Yes.
The Aspen Hotel, right down the street.
There you go. We stopped by there. They have a couple of storage boxes out there they don't have a permit for, so we realized they were doing some work. And this could be an after the fact.
So you were being proactive.
Yeah.
Okay. I would like to hear that.
Sorry you had to drive.
Oh, is this for the
It sounds
bathroom work
like-
you guys did?
What's that?
For the bathroom repair, renovations and kitchen?
Some exterior, you're painting the exterior, right?
Painting exterior, and we do want to add some signage, so I should probably add that in.
Yeah, yeah,
Just kind of, there's some houses on property that aren't labeled as such, so, and replace the sign out front, just something very similar. So I will get all that together for you guys and send it over with the full packet, the form. And check it.
If you need any help at all.
You know what, on this one, I don't necessarily know that I'd like to push this through on the Zoom, because I'm gonna
Oh,
want
sure,
to
of
see a
course.
little
Yeah.
bit.
And she needs to, yeah, she still has to do all
Okay.
that.
No, we don't have the application, so we can't.
Oh, you don't have
Yeah,
that, okay.
no,
There's
no application,
No
nothing
check,
yet.
no application, no plan.
All right.
That's July.
Stages.
Yeah, so
Okay.
July.
Okay, I will get everything to you. I'm sorry.
No, sorry about that.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, my team didn't get it to you, so I will get it to you as soon as I can.
Thanks.
Thank you.
so much.
Good luck.
I'll make sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
Correct.
See the green cow.
Okay.
I assume that this is some of the info
Yeah,
as needed.
yeah.
You mean on the
So
actual
what are you
application?
thinking? Just change them out or repaint it or? 4x4.
Well, scrape it and repaint it.
Yeah. No, right.
I need to repaint the metal.
But I don't understand why it needs to be this large.
You know,
when the sign
there's
is this
nothing
big.
else here.
Pause.
This is old sign
Yeah.
for.
So this
You just keep it fine.
Yeah, Duck Auto
That's true,
Parts.
yeah.
There's nothing else.
Yeah,
Falling
just right
sign
in there.
right,
Right.
right behind a tree.
I think it's all.
I knew that was.
But is it
Yeah.
this size or not?
Right.
No, the sign is not that.
It's not.
Is that part of the
No, there
property
is,
with the
there
convenience
is,
store?
That's Doug's.
I'll mail it.
Duck
Right.
Auto
Yeah.
Parts.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But I think you're right. A new.
Pretty anxious,
Yeah.
I was gonna wait until.
Back
I'm gonna
to
paint it.
Yeah.
Looks like it's
Are
too
we
much,
still
va-
on,
it's
by
too
the way? Are we
vacant.
still being recorded?
Recorded, yep,
Yeah.
of course.
Okay.
How is this being approved if there's
Well, well,
daycare across the street?
Well, that's a state of Vermont or a shadow at Vermont sign shop. It is daycare, perfect, not a spa. And the distinction is that the schools cannot be used.
It should be this week or early next week. But there's a lot of stuff, like 13 things tonight, so.
I thought it was fine. So I thought.
Well,
I'm gonna get in there early.
just hold off on speaking on anything.
Yes.
I agree.
So you know what? So we'll just wait till the applicant comes, seeing how we're still.
From there.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. By the way, there's like 13 applications,
42 minutes.
wow, right?
Moving right along.
Boom.
Like I said, you guys do a
You
great
do a
job.
great
putting
job
the-
getting everything.
Absolutely.
This guy.
Yes, you really did.
Hey.
Folks, John, how are you?
Very well.
But we're not gonna waste much time, so let's get right into it.
Sure.
Um,
guys called. Right up the street. Everyone knows John Bradley, the
Yep.
Bradley Ski Shop.
Okay. So, Green Mountain Cannabis.
So, Green Mountain Cannabis, 508 Depot Street, installation of 2 wall signs, each 78 inches by 27 inches, and 1 freestanding panel sign, 39 inches by 14 inches. Right. Now, is there any window signage that's proposed?
No,
Okay.
it won't be, because there'll be.
It's gonna be frosted, right, that's right, yes,
Oh,
right.
Can I ask you a question on that? That really makes it look kind of like some private social club. Couldn't you build something behind there and then make a nice little scene in the window?
It's interesting, I mentioned that to the CCB, and they said it has to be covered up, and whether it's the primary way to do it, which they suggested, is frost. I mean, there's other, I think there's other ways, but it has to be so you can't see in it. That's what they told me. The CCB.
I just think that's weird.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, do you understand what I'm saying? In
Yeah,
other words,
yeah.
box it in, so you can't see,
Better, yeah.
you can't see in the store. And now you make a creation with maybe some nice birch trees or something like that.
Yeah, when I met with them, they said it has to be frost. Or like
So it's beyond,
wallpaper on the window of some sort, but it has, you can't see in.
right, so it's beyond our jurisdiction.
Kind of, yeah, I guess that's what they're saying.
So let's discuss some of the signage or posts and so on. So the existing, I mean, just correct me, can we go to the freestanding for a second?
Yeah.
Are those posts still in place or not?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I guess you're the only tenant there. I mean, I'd like to, at the very least, see those posts reduced, because there's not gonna be another tenant in that building.
I mean, yeah, I guess that would be, I would tell the landlord.
Right. Well, I mean, but it would be part of the actual approval.
Oh. okay.
That's how come I'm just,
Yeah,
it just seems silly to have that one sign and, you know, all of this blank space.
Looks like we have a lot of vacancies.
Well, that's exactly what it looks like.
apparently he's, and again, this is just hearsay, but the gentleman that's doing my sign, he was gonna do some sign, but I haven't heard anything, and that's none of my business anyways, but I don't know to answer your question.
So,
Fine with me, whatever you
but
think.
is there 2 stories in this building?
There is,
So you taking both?
I'm taking the bottom,
Oh, so that's maybe why.
and the upstairs, I'm not paying for the upstairs, but
Right.
it's just simply storage right now. It's empty.
Well, I would like to propose having the sign size reduced, because even at the most, is that the max sign size? At the most, even if another tenant went upstairs, you're not even gonna cover half of that post
Or you
sign.
could put 4 signs there.
Well, yeah, and the
Yeah,
thing
so you
is, the
only
most
need
you can
one.
have, well,
Yeah.
worst, most you can have 2, somebody
Well,
upstairs.
so the sign on the bottom though talks about the Doug's Auto Parts, which is part of that other building with
Yeah, I
the
think all-
convenience store.
yeah, that's-
So
Oh, yeah.
technically there are 4 in that building, in that
Oh, in that facility?
lot.
Yeah, but
So
we
it's
can-
the 2
conven-
buildings,
but we
which
can
is
change
4
that.
stores.
Technically,
We
the
can
convenience
change
store
that.
could have a sign.
Okay,
So I would.
so I was just clarifying, because
Yep.
they left the sign for the businesses on the other side.
That
I
used
do.
to be there, yep.
Right.
Yeah.
I hear you.
The buildings.
The building.
Right, the building's there, but there's nobody there.
There's no
Nobody.
tenant. in it.
Yeah, they don't have Kilburns up there either.
Right,
They have
exactly.
it up on the roof, I guess. Yeah, it's fine with me,
I mean, I don't
So
know.
we're asking for a new a whole new signpost here.
Well, at the very least, it's gonna have to be cut down,
Yeah.
at the very least.
Well, it needs to be restored.
Well, that, on top of that, but, I mean, I don't know, is everybody else see something different or would like to see it different, but
And what's the lighting there too? We have to consider that.
One looks like down facing light,
One light on the left, upper left, is that right?
so that's, at the very least, it's got to comply with today's standard.
Yeah, but I think I looked at it and the light looked just kind of like one of those Home Depot squares or something. I can't tell in this picture. But I just think it should be a nice light, you know, one of those nice shielded, you know, just make it attractive.
It looks outdated for sure.
so I don't want to get too kind of far off on things. Let's kind of hone in on what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
So for the freestanding, what's the thought on reducing the size of the main sign to accommodate at most one or two signs?
Well, would that be permanent going forward? I mean, because I feel like the landowner might have an issue with that. I mean, there's 4 commercial spots on that lot. There's Doug's Auto, that's vacant.
We would never,
Kilburn's.
but look at, is that the sign for that?
Yeah.
There used,
That's the
this white sign used to have a Doug's Auto sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not.
And it's still down on the bottom.
Building he's taking
Yeah.
over has 2 locations. So in theory, if the place was full, they would need all 4 signs.
Or that put in a second signpost for the other building
Right.
and the other 2 tenants.
So maybe not cut the posts down so that they couldn't have it, but certainly maybe remove the blank signs and only have the visible, you know, only have what's actually up. You just have this one sign.
Right.
But still make it so they can put up more signs in the future if someone were to move in.
So,
You'd have to change the size of this though. Is that what you're saying, Chris?
No.
Because
No, I was saying,
otherwise it's negative space, right?
yeah, I guess that,
It's one sign and then negative space
Right.
because 3 other tenants haven't created signs, right?
correct. So I would
Okay.
just, my
Yeah.
vision.
We can ask him why, like, so there is a convenience store and they don't have a sign up. So
Could we ask them to just put blank signs that?
I mean, we could say that
Yeah.
if we want them to, if they
Yeah.
want to keep all 4 signs, they at least have to put one up for the convenience store.
yeah, for the businesses.
You know, they want to keep the signs, you know, we either reduce it or they need to have signs for the businesses that are occupied.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah, but
and restore it if they don't
yeah,
replace it with a new one, because it's a mess.
So that means it's going back to the landlord? Is that what I'm hearing?
Mhm.
It has to go back for the landlords?
Well, we
yeah,
would.
but we could approve
we
his
would
sign.
can approve his sign.
recommend approval Contingent
Right.
upon the
The
landlord
landlord's-
doing that.
Okay.
John can't.
Okay, yeah.
Thoughts on that, Peter?
Wide open. I mean, if you think we could put the same size, maybe 3 or 4 other of those same size signs as blanks, would that
Blank plates.
tidy it up? But I mean,
Well, that's
It's
what,
okay with just 1 or 2, like.
right, I agree.
We don't have to put a convenience sign store up. If the convenience store doesn't want to sign up, then.
yeah, that's fine.
So
I just don't want to have an oversized sign and not have anything there for years, maybe.
Well, I'm with Ray on that. I mean, the reality is that, you know, given the impression of vacancies and that building has been, you know,
Mhm.
kind of vacant for a while now. I mean, to the extent that we have a tenant going in, which is great.
Mhm.
I mean, it'd be nice to kind of, I mean, maybe there's an option to, because what is that? Is that buried in some sort of,
They look like cement footers.
yeah, I'm wondering if he's gonna replace the whole sign. I mean, it might be easy enough when he does get new tenants to put in a new set of posts. Again, I'm just trying to
I
think
could
of.
reach out to the owner tomorrow,
Who's making the sign?
feel him out, see where he is.
Who's making the sign?
Frank?
Well, he knows, he could, Frank would have some suggestions.
Yeah, but I think as Peter's saying, this is gonna be a landlord decision ultimately.
Right.
So, you know, what Frank is gonna be able to do is approve his sign. He's not gonna make a decision on cutting this or changing the size on that.
Right.
So do you wanna do that? We'll address
The other sign?
this sign right now. And I guess the light, as you say, Peter, will be compliant regardless of what it is or how it looks, I guess. I can't tell what it looks like here.
a coat of paint on those posts and just to clean it up.
Yep.
Make the lights compliant.
Mhm.
Well, that's assuming that he's gonna keep that. I mean, ideally,
A new one.
a new one and a lot smaller.
And that's an entry to the town. It should
It
be
is.
nice.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Very
It's an
visible.
entryway to the town. It should be nice.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, and to be perfectly frank, your sign is gonna stand out versus it being 3/4 of it blank.
Right.
You know, if it's kind of highlighted in a way that it's just that, not open space. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So John, do we approve or vote on the 2 wall signs and then leave the freestanding for Peter to discuss with the landlord? Is that
Yeah,
what we're
I
gonna-
think we can approve the sign because his sign isn't gonna change irregardless.
Okay.
It's just the sizing of the posts and the actual
Gotcha.
framework
So
for
we
the
can
sign.
approve.
I'm good with it in terms of, I think Frank mentioned to me that I'm allowed, correct me if I'm wrong, there's 3 of that one and then 2 wall signs, right? That's what Frank said. And
Yeah.
I mean, this is fine, I mean. The wall sign on the building that's the one I care about, I mean, I can wait for that, that's not a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, that one there is,
Right.
I think is important, just because that's where people are gonna look and go.
Yeah.
Is that,
Tonight, you know,
is that in need of paint too? That looks like it's peeling, but maybe that's just the way
It's
it's looking.
stained.
it's staying, yeah,
Oh, it's not peeling.
it actually looks pretty nice, to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay, so do we,
So I'll make a motion that we approve this sign as presented,
the signs?
the signs,
Plural.
and,
Okay, yeah.
you know, pending, the landlord and Peter working out the, actual signposts
For the
for
freestanding.
the freestanding.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we did add lighting into that, right?
Yes.
What's the expert now? How does the state handle putting signs up before the business is open?
In terms of, so at this point, and I'll explain this tonight, but I have been pre-approved by the state, the CCB,
Right.
which is good.
Yep.
This is one of the steps.
Yep.
And then specifically, to answer that question, I'm not sure. I mean, obviously, I can't do anything until they come inspected and I have the license in my hand.
Right.
But it's all conditioned upon them, but I've met with them. Met with, there's a couple of people, there's a kind of local liaison, so to speak, for Southern Vermont, Chip. And he's the man to talk to, and then I deal with the actual state office, but I don't know the answer to that, but I'm assuming I can't put it up until I get my license.
Well, because you've got the others to coming soon. I was just questioning is that,
Oh, yeah, I mean, I did that as like kind of marketing.
no, I know.
I didn't have any problem with that, but
Yeah, okay.
as long as the windows got frosted, that was what they said, which I've done.
Now, would that also hold true for the upper windows or just the downstairs window?
I don't know, because that's not, I haven't rented that, but I will, if I need to, I'll do that.
No, I'm just questioning because, I mean, obviously it's a different floor, but the state isn't concerned about anything other than your space, is that it?
That's as far as I know, yeah. But if I need to, I'll.
And that would be the same for the door?
Yeah, the door's been frosted as well, already.
Oh, it has been frosted.
So, yeah, there's 2 entrances, and they've been frosted, and all the windows that encompass my lease have been frosted, per their instructions.
I'm just curious, do other states require frosting windows like that too?
That I don't know.
New York City's got,
Yeah.
they're wide open.
They're selling it on the streets, for God's sake.
Massachusetts
There is no store.
I know.
No, but I mean, they've got some very nice contemporary buildings they've done in the city in New York, and they're all open, they're attractive, you know. But frosting windows is weird. It looks like we're like, wow, something evil going on. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, right.
John, unrelated to signs or design, there was a question relative to licensing from the state of Vermont for cannabis in relation to schools.
Yeah,
You just comment on.
sure, and I'm gonna address that tonight, because I'm coming at 7:30, right?
Yes.
So the school issue, which has been raised to me, and I understand.
there are obviously very stringent rules for schools. But I've spoken to the state and the company that's handling my licensing is called, Vermont Cannabis Solutions. And they've handled up to 50% of all the licensing in the businesses in Vermont. They actually made a presentation here 3 years ago to the select board. But to answer your question, daycare centers do not fall within the criteria of the state.
Okay.
Schools do, obviously, and that would be the 500-foot rule or anything attached, which obviously I'm not, but I know that the issue would go in the little daycare center across the street, which is over 600 feet, but again, to answer your question, it is not, there's no language in the law that falls within that. Because the key is, and I'm gonna have, name is Tim, he's, well, they're attorneys, but they run this business to handle, he's gonna be on the Zoom link if there's any legal questions, but he's looked into it, and obviously the language of the law is a Vermont accredited school, which is elementary, middle, high school, whatever, versus a daycare, they're completely separate. So that's the, and I did raise it with the Vermont Cannabis Board as well, and they said the same.
Okay.
So,
I guess the rationale is those kids are so young, they don't know.
right, they're not
They
gonna,
don't.
hopefully they're not gonna be coming in.
We also,
By third,
They won't be
so.
crossing the street.
Yeah.
They're coming into the shop.
I mean, obviously, and then, as I'll explain, there's very stringent security, we've decided we're gonna have the front entrance is the only customer retail entrance. We have a side entrance, but we're gonna keep that to employees and deliveries, for security reasons, but it will be manned, 24/7, and so. But I know, and I appreciate the question because I know that that's a concern, but we've looked into it up and down and every which way, and that's what I've been told. I mean, I'm not an attorney, but yeah.
So, did we have a motion on, did we already?
Yeah, we already
this?
approved it. We're good to
Yeah,
go.
we approved the signs.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, thank
Good
you.
luck.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks, John.
Your time, right?
Yep, 7:30, sounds good.
Thank you.
Okay.
We have anything else, John?
We got through
we
everything.
got through everything.
So for the Zoom meeting, we'll discuss it after we close.
We have a time frame for that?
I can structure the meeting anytime you guys want after the 48-hour warning.
So, I mean, I'll leave it up to you. I mean, do we want to keep it Wednesday, the same time? I mean,
Oh, next week?
Yeah, that's for the Zoom one, for those two.
Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah.
Look,
Sure.
we still have to warn it, and it's still
Okay.
48 hours.
Okay, so it makes.
Even if I put it up
Monday or
tomorrow.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
I mean, Wednesday gives you enough time, I would.
Yeah, Wednesday gives us plenty of time.
Okay.
Works.
Wednesday.
Yep.
Is that date?
So that'll be the 12th.
Okay.
And will it'll be Zoom and it'll be about the same time? you think?
Yep, make the same time, if that works for everybody.
Works.
Fine.
You'll send something out, right?
I will send out an invitation.
Do you guys have anything else?
No, I think we're set.
I'm set,
I'm
yeah.
thankful we got through, what we got through.
Yeah, we did.
Can I
It's
just,
a busy week.
when we all done with the business, and then I just have a comment.
Okay.
Should I stop the
Stop the
recording?
recording?
Yeah, yeah. Mary Jo came.
Recording
stopped. The lights were very nice that she proposed.
Yeah.
I mean, I really feel strongly parking lot light should really be something that makes you feel good about the area. And I think when I brought up that whole thing about the pizza place, Christo's, those three lights, that wasn't that big of a deal. And, I felt the same way strongly about the right behind Rite Aid. Granted, those ones back there, you don't see them that much, but still, it should have a nice charm to it. Why not? This is going to be there 100 years. And you have people like Mary Jo and most people are really trying to do the right thing and really make something nice. And I just feel like when we have something like that, we have to think about it, you know?
So in your,
I mean, do we all agree that a nice historic lamppost would be nicer than those things that really, I mean, I don't want to be too condescending, but they look like they were on the Jersey Turnpike in the 1970s. And if you go now even to the New York State Thruway, you'll see nice historic lights. I mean, why in a town like this, it's super upscale, will we allow somebody to just cheap out on the lights like that when they're going to be there for years and years, generations, man?
I just don't think that the ordinance or even the guidelines allow us to kind of dictate what people have to put in. I mean, there's guidelines to it, but there's nothing stating that it has to be this way. Now, it's not to say that it couldn't be done that way, it couldn't be designed that way.
Again, we make recommendations
Right.
as a board,
Guidelines.
right?
They had a pretty good gotcha by saying the lights the town approved for themselves in the Walgreens parking lot.
I was not opposed to it. I was opposed to it.
Ray was outspoken and I can appreciate
Yeah,
that, but
yeah.
at the same time, I want to be sensitive to price point, you know?
That's-
I
that
mean,
was
that
very-
is-
No, it's not that much. I mean, I was really, when you think of it, something's going to be there for 50, 100 years. I mean, how much money is it really? I mean, aesthetic is, you have all these people doing beautiful things in the town. I just feel like we should raise the bar a little bit. It's not that far up.
Maybe this is another way to go about it. If you're in a position to kind of bring to us three different class of lights. Because I don't think that, what you might be suggesting might be out of here. Once we set that precedent, my concern is there are going to be folks that can't afford that. That's just that simple. I mean, $14,000 for those lights.
There's gotta be an attractive.
That's what they said. Okay. And another thing is you can't believe everything the applicant says.
No, I think
I've
Bill
been
said,
through a lot of
I
these
thought Bill said it as well. I thought that this isn't the first time I heard
He's
that.
used those lights in other projects he said he worked on, I think. I mean, I hear what you're saying, Ray, but I think back to what Peter said is we can offer guidance, but we can't make them unless we change the ordinance,
Right,
right?
that's
We would
what I'm
have to go back
Yeah,
and.
we're in advisory capacity, whether
Okay.
it's to the ZA or to the Development Review
Well,
Board.
it seems almost odd that wouldn't be included in the guidelines because everything's very specific about buildings and how it should fit the character of the historic district and all of that. Those lights don't fit the historic district character at all.
Well, which lights are we talking about?
I'm talking about Christo's or the
You mean
pizza place
the new?
and the Walgreens or whatever it is. Yeah, behind it.
None of those are historic
Right,
districts,
those shows, but
right?
yeah.
I mean, those are all commercial centers or town centers, for instance.
But it's on historic Main Street.
I understand it might be a historic Main Street, but
I'm just trying to enhance the
I
experience
agree with you.
of the locals and the residents. Everybody feels that stuff.
Yeah, and I'd love
And to pay $10,000 more for something that's going to be there 100 years. I was saying, really, you have a big night in a restaurant, you can pay whatever. Well, anyway.
Is that something that you want to kind of bring up to planning to?
You can develop some codes and standards that you're in this particular district. The standard for that district would be this.
The district, I mean, where Ray is at, we're covering multiple districts right now. Yeah, I think he's talking about just the general guidelines for design review. And that's where I go back to, Ray, if you can bring 2 or 3 different variations within various price points,
Right.
and then at least we can present, because I mean, to sit here and not be able to present anything
Yeah.
back to the applicant, it's kind of difficult for us to sit there and be critical
Right.
at $14,000.
Well, I mean, when I buy something, sometimes I stretch myself because I know when you buy cheap, you get cheap, so even sometimes I did bring these pictures, I brought a whole bunch of them. I didn't bring prices. But I mean, I feel like
It's for the future though.
Northshire Day School can do it. The library, the Taconic Hotel, something right in the center of town. It's a real focal point. It just my thoughts.
Yep.
Anyway. But I'll shop around.
Yeah.
I think it's worth it.
What I can
I mean,
get.
well, I mean, your point is well taken, and I think that if we can present it and with some rough numbers. So
Right.
people have an understanding that, listen, for a couple of extra bucks, not an extra $10,000.
Right.
But, you know, I just think you want to get to a couple of different price points. That's my feeling.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll investigate.
Great.
Excellent.
Thanks.
And Elias, thanks for all of your work putting this
Yeah.
together. This was a lot.
Yeah, good job. Good job.
It's all good.
Being very clear.
I know,
That's
it's-
exciting.
We do rely on the applicants coming up with, so it's a press sometimes. We need more information.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
I mean, the sculpture thing was kind of a bit of a bust.
yeah, but that's.
Well, I think we all agreed that the sculpture would have been nice, but I'm afraid of setting that price, because I
Right.
know we've gotten into that even with that general store, which frankly is still kind of a.
Which is that?
The general store.
The country store?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know.
Mean stuff outside.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think a nice sculpture would be,
Well, I agree. I mean, I like it, but I don't want to go down this path of approving things that shouldn't be approved.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's kind of a gray area though, because with the
It's
Helmholtz,
reg.
she is selling that horse, just not that horse.
Right.
You can go into Helmholtz and say, I would like to buy one of these horses.
Yeah.
Yes.
She will sell it to you.
Yeah,
So if he's selling that sculpture, could just say, I'm selling them a different sculpture.
I agree, but
Right.
I would have accepted that, but he didn't say that.
He said he was gonna sell
Yeah,
the.
he
weight.
could have said that and I would have.
Or maybe you could.
We shouldn't encourage people to lie. Come on, guys. That's.
But the reality is, he said, you know, what concerned me is after that, he was gonna replace it with something else. And
Yes,
so then
yeah,
we don't even
right.
know what the next thing was gonna be.
So
Right.
it does open it up to.
It could, he said it was a beat. Is that?
Yeah.
a beat. So the next thing we do not know, it could be a gorilla.
Well, that's-
Could be a good.
Patty Hearst with.
And speaking of.
Has anybody had any feedback?
I actually caught up with Steve this afternoon. And I said, you know what, Steve, that sign actually was it's really kind of played down.
Mhm.
I was expecting a lot bigger, broader, but
I was too.
when I looked, and I've gone by a couple of times, you almost don't even notice it.
I was gonna say the
Yeah.
color scheme is, yeah.
well, the brick is it's natural, so it
That's it.
softens everything.
Well, and he had all black there, and that gorilla is, dude, majority of that thing is still kind of really dark.
There's been a couple of anime conversations.
Have there?
Yeah, I mean.
I
I didn't even see it. I didn't even look at it.
But
Yeah, it is a double take, I agree.
Super negative or just double?
Yeah.
You know what? I wasn't
Not
here at
very
the time,
positive.
Not very.
but I only heard that there was some animation involved with.
You do know what the other.
There was some what?
Animated
Yeah,
Patty
discussion.
Hearst,
Yeah.
yeah, I wasn't here for the curl.
The Patty-
You know what? And you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say, here's Meryl's phone number. Why don't you call her?
Yeah, you tell me you can't do it.
Exactly. That's, I
And he
mean.
did
it's-
say he wanted to change
Yeah,
that.
he's gonna be changing it.
Actually, when I spoke to him today, he goes, I still intend to come back in a year and change it. He is planning on, as he told me today, coming forward with lighting there as well.
Good.
So, I mean, that's gonna
Should
happen.
we open the conversation with the interior stuff at all? Because I know that bothers some people as well.
I agree, but I mean, do we have the authority to address that? And I thought that's been the issue.
Don't know.
You're talking about the neon lights inside?
Well, he's got a black light
Yeah.
shining on
24/7.
furniture. So
You know what, I mean, if there's language that prevents it or does not allow it, then I'd be willing to kind of deal with it. I mean, I'm happy to have the
It's
conversation.
all subjective to taste.
Agreed. I totally
Yeah.
agree.
You know, and
Totally.
I'll tell you the truth, I don't mind it really because I think it's young and cool.
Yeah.
Then on the other hand, you got Ballas's Aunt Bonnie's there with all those buntings out there and everything like that. I mean, somebody could say, well, okay, well, what about the gorilla? And I can have that. But I think, in my own personal opinion, that shop, Aunt Bonnie's, looks like a tacky souvenir shop, the way everything's out there. The light, the flag, I mean, why not have an American flag? I'm patriotic, but I think those buntings and all, isn't there some
well,
parameters for that?
interestingly enough, I mean, I had a conversation with her and I wasn't gonna die on that hill per se. I did run it by Merrill and Merrill thought I was in my right to, write a notice of violation or issue a ticket for that because of it's not an American flag. You're able to fly an American flag. It's
Yeah, great.
bunting. But then there's also the side that's the decoration side. You're celebrating the Memorial Day weekend.
Mhm.
4th of July is coming up.
Yeah.
Flag Day,
Yeah.
those types of things.
Did you have a gopher out there for,
Groundhog Day? I would not make that suggestion because I think
Oh.
she could.
Well, I think she's pushing every button she can right now
Yeah,
because
she's
she
trying to find the
was very
guard.
confrontational when she was here and I wouldn't, a mom and pop business, I want to support it, but I think it's
Here's the thing.
place is kind of screwed.
Is that if I go and push this and she pushes back, the next step it goes to the DRB. Is the DRB prepared to have that discussion? And I talked to Timmy a little bit today. And he said, well, there's nobody complaining. And I really didn't have any complaints from anyone so far. And I'm open to discussion on what the look and feel of the historic Main Street is. And if that is not in keeping with it, then I'm happy to take the next step.
yeah, but I'll tell
Really
you,
looks like a
right, you better
souvenir.
be, you better be careful
better
on
be
that,
ready for that.
because the general store has got all of their stuff littered all over that
Yeah.
porch. So, I mean, once we start that ball, we better be prepared to deal with all of it. I mean, that general store is right next door.
And Peter and I discussed it a little bit over email also. My business just up the street.
Right.
Years ago, we used to put up bunting and there was never any issue with it. Different zoning administrator, but so it definitely has precedence to being allowed.
Right. Well, I don't disagree. It's just that I want to be careful where we head down.
Yeah.
Well,
Because-
You can't just pick
No,
a store.
that's
Can't,
right,
like we've had
exactly.
You couple it with
conversations with her in the
Bonnie's
past.
and all the paraphernalia.
Decoration
It
becomes
becomes
a very short limited of time that's available and it's taken down.
Right.
But if it becomes a permanent thing and it all of a sudden is tattered or it's dirty.
Yeah.
It becomes a nuisance.
And is that actually is that written somewhere that we can then,
Well, it's under prohibited signs, and if you look at the interpretation of sign, that's really
It's a
wide open.
sign, right?
right?
So flag is a
Define-
flag, a sign is a sign, and a sign needs approval.
Yeah, the sign is anything that would attract your attention.
okay,
The
Right,
hook
you can't have
is that it has to be, I think, what was the term we had on there? It has to be readable, I think was, right? Was that the term that Gordon had a problem with?
I think so.
Yeah.
okay.
You know, the funny thing is her signs are all the red, white and blue, her signs. So kind of when you put all that stuff up, it's kind of like it's almost supporting her
Right.
visual, you know? I mean, you can't miss it.
I'm happy to write the ticket, go to enforcement, but I want some air cover when I go to do that.
Agreed.
I don't want to have it, all right, the ZA is, he's
Yeah,
a jerk.
But I agree with John, you can't just pick on her.
No.
We have
That's
to
the
go
problem.
down the
No,
street
you-
and everybody.
That's, I feel
Well,
strongly about
Yeah.
that.
I see
I
the
agree.
Napa has the bunting out as well. So do we,
I really feel strongly that going down the road of being anti-bunting is not.
the way to
idea.
go.
It's not,
It's not the
Yeah,
best.
it's not-
Pick your
I don't- I'm
battles.
not
I
gonna
know.
support that.
I was gonna say,
is
pick your
that the
battles.
worst
right?
possible scenario?
On Bonnie's
No.
definitely doesn't look good.
Pick your
No.
battles.
Yeah.
Bunting is not the best.
That, I think that was how I read the Abe versus Patty Hearst. You had, I think,
Yeah.
right, picking battles there, is that?
Lesser of two evils.
That's
Yeah,
right.
kind
Yep.
of, you know, he was not gonna, my interpretation is he was not gonna back down on that.
But if the whole town looked like that, I don't think we'd be,
Well, then
we wouldn't be the same place.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway.
Most people in town.
I know what you're saying.
Nice.
I know what you're saying. You can,
Well, I try to take an open view of things and consider it, and also consider what are the downside risks if I do take some
Yep.
enforcement action.
Right.
So I don't want it to get shot down. I want to get support.
Yep.
That's why I talk to
Mhm.
this committee, this board, and I also talk to DRB to get there, and I'll be talking to them tonight about this.
Mhm.
You know, lastly, I know we're not on, but the farmer's market did put that sign up.
Yes.
Should we address that here?
Which sign?
Which sign?
They put up a new farm where the
historic-
it's a hanging sign. It's, I mean, it's tasteful and I think it's appropriate, but,
But it's hanging up on like the posts and everything?
well, yeah,
Is it
it's
just on
hanging off
Thursday?
of another, is it?
It's a historic marker.
A historic marker sign. I mean, if it doesn't require it, then that's fine, but maybe throw that on the Zoom.
Absolutely.
Just to kind of, it's on the record and it's done, but I noticed that they did hang that.
Right at the farmer's market, right at the
The
location.
new location.
The new location.
why did they move from Adams Park?
Oh,
Arcade.
have you been there I went there
More
last
parking,
Thursday.
more Space,
That place was packed.
it was
The new one.
nice.
They didn't have enough space for the number of vendors that wanted to
And they didn't have no
participate.
parking.
It's by miles now?
Yeah, it's what Harris Cafe used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was a home run for them.
Yeah.
It was a great
smart.
spot.
It's a great
My
spot.
wife's from Big, so we used to walk across the street to it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well,
Smart
no,
move on their
Yeah,
part.
absolutely. They're gonna draw big attention. My concern goes back to, not for this board, but obviously the parking situation that we discussed briefly on that, Peter.
Yes, sir.
You know, for that market.
Good, I hope it does well.
They had no parking
Yeah.
last week. That place was mobbed.
Really? With all the
Great. I was shocked.
Well, it's
Shocked.
so visible too. You
Oh,
come
it's
right off
highly
of seven,
visible.
you're, you know.
It is the gateway.
It's the
It is
gateway
the
to the
gateway.
town and they had all the tents.
And
up.
it was a great day,
Beautiful day. Yeah.
Mhm.
so, I
Yeah,
mean, good for them.
beautiful. Yeah, good. Just on one of notice, you see, I was asking about the Simon Pierce sign in the window. Remember Aunt Bonnie had it totally plastered with totally covered window. And, you know, I mean, I just think windows should be attractive and should be like almost theater. You know, you go into certain, I mean, there are some businesses, Chris, your place is nice, you know, a Mountain Goat. They create time and make a creative window, you know? And I just think the plaster of like the 60% off sign, like, which is in the building, which is right next to Simon Pierce, where they're gonna be. You look right next, it's just totally covered with a 60% off sign. I mean, it looks cheap. Now, I know the ordinance allows it, I guess.
You can use up to your percentage for one window if you decide you're gonna use.
All in one window. Yeah. I mean, I just think it would be nice to encourage interesting, attractive windows. You walk around town, you see things, you know, it's fun.
We want to encourage walking, right? We want to encourage people to look in the windows, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Some people seem to
Retail.
get it right.
Simon Pierce is.
There are a lot of really great
It's
windows.
fine. I
Yeah,
think
I
Simon
mean, it's
Pierce is gonna be
Yeah,
fine.
they're-
Oh, yeah, I don't have a problem.
Beautiful.
with
They're
that.
gonna have beautiful.
Yeah, look at the beautiful job that Squirrel.
Yeah, they
with
did
the
a nice
old-
job.
She did a great job on that building. It's beautiful.
Okay, if nothing else, motion to adjourn,
Return.
Oh, good.
favor?
Aye.
Okay,